What's up, guys? It's your boy, Benny. It's hard to really put the scope of Donald Trump's life in perspective when you consider the fact that he's the most famous mortal man who's ever lived. That's kind of inarguable, right? Like, he has more power than all the Beatles combined, right? Elvis, these are people of note from recent history, but even the old kings and conquerors of old didn't have the kind of power that Donald Trump had as president and as celebrity and as movie star and as billionaire and as real estate mogul. All of that combined, I mean, you kind of have a pretty remarkable figure. Even if you hate the guy, even if you don't like the color of his skin, the cut of his jib, orange man bad, you gotta admit, he's the most accomplished man in history. Arguably, and therefore the most powerful. From a celebrity standpoint, it's not even close. So it's really interesting to go back into the time capsules and to see how big of a celebrity Donald Trump really was in his still ongoing lifetime. Many say that this is the greatest photo of Donald Trump in history, and I would argue it's quite iconic. This is actually this is emblematic of probably the greatest era in American history. Some say this is the greatest photo of Donald Trump. We don't know. We'll leave it to the historians to decide. But I would technically argue this is the greatest photo of Donald Trump ever. But the what they all have in common, all three of these photos have in common, 1, 2, 3, is that they were all on a tennis court. Donald Trump loves the sport of tennis. He was a big-time sponsor, promoter of the U.S. Open. Donald Trump posts photos here on Truth Social of himself playing tennis. Just kind of randomly. That's how much he loves it. He doesn't do this for anything else. He just posts a photo randomly of himself playing tennis. What a unit. That's because Donald Trump was the king of the court. So much so that if you go back into the archives, you can find videos from like 2015 of Serena Williams, Eric Trump, all of them on a court together playing tennis. Here's Donald Trump in Sterling, Virginia, playing Serena Williams in a suit with dress shoes on and doing a totally okay job, like not humiliating himself. Watch this. Boom. It's like actual hit. What was going on here? What was happening here? They're giving each other a kiss, right? Like Serena Williams, big time Obama, whatever, supporter. Look at that. Bam. Pure power. Look at the two of them. Where did this even come from? What universe is this? What world is this? Well, ladies and gentlemen, Serena Williams not only played Donald Trump, she danced with Donald Trump on New Year's Eve. Oh, no. In 2015, the year he announced he was running for president, Serena Williams won 3 Grand Slams, competed her Serena Slam, capped it off by winning Sports Illustrated's Person of the Year. And how did she cap off her year? By dancing with Donald Trump, of course. What? What a world. Trump's had quite a year. He valued himself as the top of the polls, the Republican presidential nomination. Trump, who attended Serena's U.S. Open quarterfinal match this year against her older sister, Venus, declared his candidacy in June. So Trump was already candidate for president. We can only speculate as to whether Serena and Donald discussed the New Year's resolutions for 2015. So they were like, so wait a second. Trump was a candidate for president. Serena Williams was dancing with him? Oh, my goodness. Truth is that Donald Trump's been a big-time promoter of New York sports, obviously, for a very long time. Don't ever let them photograph you eating a hot dog. Don't do it. So he's been a big-time promoter of sports in New York for ages. Donald Trump was the king of the U.S. Open. Here he is with Puff Daddy. There you go. And here he is sitting in the box with, there's Melania. There's Ivanka. There he is in the box again. Here's little Baron Trump. That's such a cutie. Look at that. Here he is with John McEnroe. So Donald Trump, of course, is a lover of sports. If you get into a conversation with Donald Trump, he'll inevitably go to sports, talking about sports. He loves football. He loves boxing. He loves tennis. He loves the UFC. He loves golf. Obviously, he owns a number of golf courts. But the things you don't see, the things they want to keep from you, is that Donald Trump took his shoes off and then played Serena Williams on a tennis court that he owns at his club outside of DC. Look at him smash. And there he goes, boink. Still better than I could do. And he's in a full suit. He took his shoes off. Okay, got it. All right, here we go. Uh-oh, boink. There you go. They want you to forget. John McEnroe is a man who is a very famous tennis star and has a remarkable story about Donald Trump. Here's a photo of the two of them. There you go. Has a remarkable story of Donald Trump when Donald Trump offered him $1 million to play Serena Williams. And John McEnroe straight up saying the most remarkable thing that's ever happened in the world is Donald Trump becoming president of the United States. The whole thing is just wild. This interview is bonkers, and it's a throwback to a simpler time. Watch.
Tell about the envelope you got with the letter and offer from Donald Trump.
It was after Serena and Venus had started talking about they could beat a lot of guys. So over time, somehow, I guess because I'm a commentator, or I'm not exactly sure why I was the sort of the fall guy for this, or why didn't they bring? They're always like, well, what do you think? Well, I don't. I think Serena and Venus are great, but you're not going to sit there and have me say I can't, beat them. So I was calling a match, and suddenly I get this envelope, and it's from Donald Trump, who's promoter galore. Little did I know what was going to end up happening, nor I believe anyone else. If you think some of the things I did was crazy, well, the craziest thing in the last 250 years of our entire history of the United States is that Donald Trump became president. I mean, amazing. So he wrote me a letter, said, dear John, I want to offer you $1 million again to play either Serena or Venus. And so over the course of time, literally, my kids, my daughters have, Dad, I don't know if you can beat Serena. I'm like, God, I didn't even get my kids on my side.
Why'd you turn down Trump's offer?
It's never been something where I was like, I want to go play a woman in a match. I just feel like I needed to defend myself. Maybe I'm not as sure now that I could do it as I was then, because I'm getting a little older and grayer. But nonetheless, I was like, wait a second, I was the #1 player in the world. I wasn't a bad player. Why don't they talk about that with track and field, or soccer, or basketball, or any other sport? What happens if some girl goes and plays in the NBA? What happens if a track star that won the 100 meters runs against a college guy? What happens if the numbers, whoever it is in the world, plays Serena? I mean, but somehow it's me, the old fart.